Trevin, let's just start the conversation. We're just going to pick up. What's typically, when you've been working on share stuff, other companies, what's one of the biggest factors for why projects just become complete dumpster fires where everyone hates each other?
I feel like a lot of this comes down to authority and trust. So how, example, I give you a project
Hmm.
and I say, go figure it out. Is that me giving you authority and autonomy? Or is that me just like completely abdicating my responsibility as someone who's supposed to be setting up that project for you? I would argue it's the latter because, or sorry, it's the abdication
Yeah.
because you're passing the buck. You're not actually trying to help them achieve anything. It's better if you're like, okay, David, you are in charge of posting the podcast by Friday. Like, and you can have XYZ amount of resources to do that, but get it done.
And here are the credentials to do it. That's my
But
favorite
it's
part.
like, I think about this myself a lot as a leader. It's like, where am I under communicating the things that people need in order to achieve what I'm looking for? And also, where where am I not creating the guardrails well enough for them to be successful within like a specific scope?
Yeah, and I jump in a little bit here is I think what I try to do, and I'm not a project manager, I've had to be one at times, like like you said, but like it's if I give you enough instruction or detail around it, you should be able to hopefully hit the mark, or at worst 85-90% of what I was looking for. Um, and then be able to know where to ask the questions. Okay, I have all this. I think I did it right. Let me just double check because this made me question something, whether it was design or functionality or whatever is being asked of you, and not being afraid to ask that question for help. So it's even things just like, here's what I have. This is everything you should need. Ask me if you don't know, and then let the person or people fly. But a lot of times it's like, here's a doc, do the thing. Which part of the thing? The whole doc? Am I supposed to do that whole thing? Do I have, like you said, authority to do that? Should I just build this page and this form? What are you expecting from me so that I don't overstep and do 10 hours of work when you only budgeted for 4 because you thought I was only going to build the web page, or I do underwork. I think you only want the web page when really you want the whole thing. That kind of thing. And so I think it all comes down to clarity and communication from the
Yeah.
AI agent. No, just
It's
kidding.
just like any relationship, and specifically I'll have to speak of marriage, unmet expectations. Unmet expectations are the single driver of most fights that occur in a relationship. And they're the single biggest driver of frustration with a project. It's, I thought in my head that it was going to be this. This is what it actually was. And that is where the mismatch comes. And that's where frustration happens. Where, if you would have just told a client, hey, it's going to be this date because of what you did, they would have been fine with it. You could have managed expectations in advance. Instead, someone didn't communicate that to them. They did not communicate those expectations well. And so the client still thinks we're going to have it by the original date, even though I got you that thing 3 weeks late. And now all of a sudden, when it's 3 weeks late, actually launch, now the client is furious because unmet expectations. And so I think that's typically that's unmet expectations or mismanaged expectations start at the start. It's part of the kickoff if it's not scoped well. It's one of the reasons why I have made pains in the past year with clients to be brutally honest at the start about what is and is not possible and what expectation should be for projections, for results, for timelines, to put a million caveats on, if you don't deliver by this date, we can't do our job, right? And just to really set clear expectations that can feel a little bit labor intensive at the start, but frankly, really help those projects go a lot better and keep everyone happier.
Yep.
So I have a colleague who has a great quote that I'll put a bow on that. The difference between expectation and reality is disappointment.
That's it. To the T. That's great. I love that. I love that.
Well, I have
okay.
a question on here too, because
Yeah.
real quick on this, there are project managers and there are project managers. And what I mean by that is a true project manager will take information, make it all pretty in whatever software you've got, and then hand it to somebody else, even if doing so would take longer than clicking the checkbox in the thing. Then there are project managers who sometimes do the thing and don't pass the information on because I can just do it myself. Which do you think is better?
So essentially someone who just takes care of stuff or someone who just like delegates to the nth degree. Is that kind of what we're asking here?
Yep. Mm-hmm. What would you prefer?
Which person is thinking proactively versus being told what to think? That's what I prefer.
I prefer the person who does the thing and then tells everyone they did the thing. Can we just add the caveat of like, if it takes them a few seconds to do it, yes, just do the thing, but please then tell everyone you did the thing so that it's like that's my ideal scenario is like, yes, if something takes you 10 minutes to do, but you're going to have to write a 10-minute email to a team member and then just get the thing done. Like just get it done. That's my preference.
I agree. Get it done, then tell me you did it. I was going to say that's the disparity is I got it done. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys I did that. And now you've wasted 4x time on.
I guess the caveat is, do you trust that person's discernment to decide whether or not that is something that they should be doing or not? Because I've definitely experienced that in the past where it's like, hey, you're a senior designer and you should be delegating that to a junior designer because I need your thought on concepting this new project versus designing an ad for this other project.
Right. But if it takes you more time to delegate to the junior designer, is that actually a net savings of any time at all?
Well, we could debate it. I mean, let's set some parameters here.
Yeah.
What is an appropriate situation for delegate? I know this isn't project management, but I think it's a good topic. It is
project management.
What is an appropriate filter for delegation versus just do it, in your opinions?
Yeah, I would say it doesn't waste other time. So like I get what you're saying, Trevin, there, like, oh, if I'm going to do this 10-minute thing, but it's taking me away from 10 minutes of something else, well, then I'm net losing potentially. I'm thinking about success rate when I say this. Like if I spend 20 minutes writing, hey, can you go fix the checkbox over here or whatever, and that person doesn't deliver or might ask questions while I then go back to the things that I'm supposed to be doing or delegating or doing high level stuff, then the back and forth to me is a waste of time versus like, hey, fix the checkbox. You don't have to do this, but in the future, this is how you do it. And I think it's the education practice for me that if you do it, you have to show them how you did it so that you don't ever have to do it again. But I think I'm more talking similar around that because, there's some things like I could design that logo because I don't think they're going to do a good job doing that rather than giving them the opportunity to learn and be successful. I'm not as much in that camp.
I feel that it matters that you define what success looks like on a thing. And so you all know the stakes, and that's super important in deciding whether or not you should delegate something. If the stakes are low, I would actually be more inclined to delegate that than less. If it's higher, maybe you shouldn't delegate it. I know that's not a perfect guardrail for how you decide to delegate, but I think it's a factor.
I think it depends on the person that you're delegating to of like, I'm just taking it from a leadership angle. What's your goal for that person? If it's someone that you're trying to develop within the organization, then I think you need to give them as much as you can to develop them and give them shots to take things off your plate. If it's someone that you're working with that frankly is a contractor that I'm not trying to develop this person, I just need to get it done for the sake of like speed. Okay. Like just do it yourself. I think a lot of it has to come down to Yeah. What are you like? What's your goal for that person you're delegating it to? Just thinking holistically about them outside of just the task at hand. But okay, yes, it takes me just as much time to tell them how to do it. And they may only do it 80% as well as me. But if they get to learn something new and I'm trying to develop them within our organization to have hundreds of skills like that they've learned that now they're can replace me, then it's well worth the time. But it's a question of what's their role within the organization. Are they someone you're trying to build up, or are they someone who, frankly, is part of your cogs, right? That you're just like, hey, this is part of doing the business, and we got to get done. And I don't really like love you, but it's transactional, right? Sort of a thing. Just get the thing done. That's kind of how I like to think about it a little bit more.
How do you decide who to invest in on which things?
That's a great question.
How long you want to work with them, and how often something's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a really good. That's it, right? Yeah. Do you think this is someone that's going to grow with your team for the next decade? And do you like? Yeah, then absolutely. If you don't, and you're like, yeah, this person's here for, short amount of time, like they're a stopgap, then maybe not. I think it's more of an understanding of like where are they in the long term, like health of your organization. So
I think it's also when it comes to projects or tasks, how often that's going to happen.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If it's going to take me 15 minutes to do something one time, that's probably not going to happen for another year. Just do it.
Just do it. Right.
It takes you half an hour to teach someone or 15 minutes to do it, and it's not going to recur. That's kind of my filter too, is it's not even capability or developing someone, but if it just takes me 15 minutes, or it takes me half an hour to teach you how to do it, so in a year you can spend half an hour to do it and save me 15 minutes in a year from now.
Yeah.
Like it's functionally better, even if it's net the same. It takes me 15 minutes to show you how to do it or 15 minutes to do it. Like I just do it. But if it's going to be something that I got to do this every single month, I'll take 30 minutes to train you now, because then you can take it off my plate. You have more ownership, you have more responsibility, and I have one less thing to do.
Yeah.
So I can focus on 15 minutes of doing something more meaningful for my business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's shift a little bit. I want to talk about project management tools and the role those actually have within an organization. Let's start off though by talking about what some of the ones are, and give me your hot takes on how you feel about these as tools. So I'm gonna list
hot take before we go in.
Okay.
All project management platforms are trash pandas.
They're all awful. Everyone ever. Okay.
With the asterisk,
some are more trash.
Project management platforms are only as good as the project manager managing the platform. So that's the I think that's what I want to make sure we all hear is there's no project management technology, no matter how good or well built it is, that's going to solve your project management problem.
That is good. All right, so we're gonna go through the list. First one up, personal favorite of mine, Basecamp. I'm gonna say it's solid and give it a thumbs up, even though David Schwab says that they all suck.
Sucks. Trash panda. No, I actually don't like it.
Okay, why? Why don't you like Basecamp?
Granted, I haven't used it in a long time. Yeah. It's just too elementary for 9 out of 10 use cases I've been put in to use it for. I can't even necessarily say I've used it for what it's designed for. But when I use it, it's not capable of doing what I need.
All right, fair enough. Trevin, what say you about Basecamp?
I think it's really good for like a dashboard level of how a project is going. I think I tend to agree with David though on the whole, where all project management software is just crappy. Terrible. It goes back to what we're talking about with delegation. It takes forever to set up a project and every single thing. It's as much time as doing it. So this is like Basecamp aside. I feel that way about everything. So unless you have a project manager or someone, or at least let's just say that you have someone owning the project management. It doesn't have to be a project manager, technically speaking. You don't have to have that role on your team. You're doomed to fail. It doesn't even matter what the tool is.
Here's my ideal project management software. You guys ready for it? Like this is my genius invention. Everyone works in the office together, and there's a massive whiteboard with one to-do list, and everyone uses Google Drive for file sharing. That's my ideal project management software.
Visually check it off.
Right. It's just like everyone can see it. It's all up in one place, central in the office. You check things off as they go. Everyone knows what their tasks are, who's assigned. You just write it out, and then everyone's just like, "Oh yeah, where are all the files? They're all in that one Google Drive file. Go."
Okay, well, you cannot achieve that unless you have high trust in the people that you work with, and also high accountability around every task. Like
Yes.
every task has to be assigned to a single person who will be
Right.
accountable for that thing.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I think to your point, the digital world allows you to turn off those notifications. So I've used Basecamp. I've gone back and forth to it twice. I think it's very simple, and I think it's good for very small teams and very little projects where you're doing most of the work.
Yeah.
The moment that you have to invite 2 or 3 people in and you haven't already standardized a process, it's not great.
Okay.
It's great for Basecamp level stuff where you're doing the same 4 things over and over again, and you're assigning the same 4 to 10 people over and over again. But beyond that,
thumbs down. All right. Next up, we're going to talk ClickUp.
Decent. I use
Good.
it, so it's just also probably overkill unless your team's doing a lot of different things or large enough to handle it, or you do have somebody who's project manager mindset who can control all of you, and because you have to configure it too.
Yeah.
So if you don't have somebody who took ownership of the platform, it gets unwieldy. But I'd say it's pretty good.
I just hate from a UI standpoint. Like I'll give it a solid. We use it internally at Share. Like we pay them money. I will say I hate their user interface. That I have 7 menu bars to scroll through to figure out to find what I need. Like, can we please just like condense some of those menus into one or some drop down? Like, it's a lot. Visually, every time I see it, it gives me anxiety.
Yep, I'd agree.
Amen. 100%. I kind of hate ClickUp, to be honest. It's just overwhelming, and I think it's as good as your processes. So if you have it all templated out and your process is there, it's great. I think it also comes down to whether or not you're going to focus all of your communication around every deliverable in the platform of ClickUp, because that's what it's good at. But if you, like, the minute that someone goes and has a side conversation in Slack, then like you're done.
You're done. You're done. It is, you need like militaristic adherence to ClickUp for it to be great. Okay. Trello.
Are people still using that?
I don't know. Altasian or whatever it is. I don't know. Next. Okay, so that's a no. We're all no on Trello.
No, it's too easy.
All right, so this is mostly more of a product tool, but I don't know, maybe people are using project management. Linear. Trevin, I know you love Linear.
Love Linear for the use case of product.
Yeah.
It's very good for that. Good for road mapping, good for, tracking tickets. But I mean, again, I'll just go back to the same thing that I said for ClickUp. Like, you do need to keep all of your comms about
100%,
each issue inside the platform.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would use it for anything else.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. No, I think it's clean and niche, and that's what's appealing to it, but it doesn't do everything else. I wouldn't call it a full project management suite. No. I'd call it a specific dev project management tool.
But I feel like that's the shortcoming of most project management software. It's that everyone is trying to build a suite versus a solution for a specific use case.
Yeah, maybe that's like what actually we want is like project management for like, frankly, if someone was like, we're a project management tool specifically for marketing agencies, that would probably be more applicable for us than like just a generic ClickUp that's for everyone doing everything. Right. So maybe that's just a product that needs to be wildly verticalized to actually be an effective tool. Okay. How do we feel about Monday?
Never used it.
Maybe the biggest marketing budget in all of project management. Good Lord, they're everywhere.
I would call it good software.
Okay.
But it's a Cadillac, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's right for everyone. I do know a few ministries who are using it that use it to its full potential, and it's really strong.
Do they use it as a CRM as well? Because
Not as a
Monday-
CRM, but as a data, like as a what's the term I'm looking for? As a DAM, digital asset management.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Because one of their big pushes is like, we're your CRM, and I'm like, wait, what? I don't want my project management tool to be my CRM
No.
too. Like that's weird.
No.
That's a weird thing to try to do. Okay, so Monday.com. Yeah.
Yeah, they're okay. And also I think it also comes down to, yeah, exactly who's using it, because if you're not able to pay for the tiers or the types of users or guest users or things like that, that's where this gets expensive.
Real expensive, real fast. All right, I have been in Monday before. I thought it was pretty slick. Honestly, I liked it pretty well. I didn't spend a lot of time. She's with one client, and I thought it was really solid. Let's go to probably the most popular one, I would say, for most of the people listening, I would think would be Asana.
Is it as good as it used to be? I mean, I used it years ago before they sold
right?
to Salesforce, and it was good then.
Yeah,
it's good. We use it. It's good, but again, it's good if you set it up to be good. I think that's the asterisk we're putting on all of these, though. Is like
all of these.
It's only as the software is only as good as the person pulling the levers.
All right.
Okay, so can I
go to
ask a tangent conversation?
Yeah, break it off.
Do you think we buy software to avoid having hard conversations around projects?
Yes.
1,000% yes.
Sure.
That's why 90% of software is bought, to avoid having hard conversations about people or system failure.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it's because I can be like, look, the clock says this. I told you it was that. You didn't do this. AI bot now can tell you you're late.
Right. Yeah, because it's like you buy it, you think, okay, if I just put the tasks in the project management tool and it sends automatic reminders to this person, surely then they'll actually do the thing they've been asked to do a million times that we'd said to everyone in the meeting, this is the due date, and then they'll do it. And yet they still don't do it, right? Like what we're trying to build is automated annoyance for our team.
Here's a good question. Why? Why don't people do it if all the things are there?
Because they're lazy, David. I don't know.
Because they wouldn't have done it before. I would say that the reason we have a project management tool is twofold. We're in the software world, so you've got the people that don't enjoy talking person to person, or like probably us, we've got fully remote teams. You can't talk person to person all the time and can't reasonably call people every 5 minutes and be like, dude, where's my money at? But anyway, so that bridges that gap.
Yeah.
But the other piece, to it is, okay, that task is up there. I'm not being watched actively. I'm not being micromanaged by a person like I would be potentially sitting in an office. I have had somebody literally dictate an email that I should write for them. So
it's wild.
Yeah, that annoys the junk out of me. So I'm like, bring on the project management tool. Just, give me a list of stuff I need to do and go away. But if I'm the person who's going to get that stuff done, I'll get it done, and I'll get it done ahead of time. But most people are still back in the high school like, oh, crap, it's due tomorrow. Forgot to do my homework. And they cram, and you get either mediocre work, lucky work sometimes, or none at all. And so I think it still comes down to the people using the platform. It's how they would have done work if left alone to their own devices.
In an office. Trevor, what do you think?
Why don't people use it?
Or like, why don't they do this stuff even though they have all the tools in place to like stay up on the project well? And we're not saying everyone, because like honestly, like I can say for our team, like frankly, I think our team at Share internally does a really good job of consistently like just doing the things that they're supposed to do, that this is assigned to me, cool, I'm gonna get it done. Not perfect, like absolutely have team members who don't, but I think generally like so this isn't everyone, but there are people, we all know the people within the organization that can get all the text reminders, can get all the Slack messages, and still it's like, dude, we told you every way we know how to do to get it done, and it's not getting done.
I'm a project manager's least favorite person to work with. The reason I ask that is I would say I think a big reason why it doesn't work is because we've gotten to a point where we have notification fatigue. Mm. If I get 5 text messages, 2 Slack messages, 3 Teams messages, 2 emails, and an Asana task notification for every single thing that happens, it's just impossible to keep up.
Overkill. Yeah.
And I think that's a fundamental world. maybe not everyone is living in, but particularly the more projects you're part of and the more things that you have to be managing or aware of, you get to the point where you just have notification fatigue and you can't keep up with it, so you don't even try.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just projecting my radical inequity on everyone else.
No, I would agree, because I think that it comes down to being overwhelmed. Like, Matt, you mentioned that with ClickUp. You go into it and you're immediately overwhelmed just because of the layout of the tool.
Yeah.
So, and then at that point you're like, well, it's going to take me 30 minutes to figure out what I need to go in here and what I need to do. And in that time, I could have done the thing that I know I need to do. So I'm just not going to engage.
Right. This is why my ideal system is literally a whiteboard.
Well,
so I'm like,
I have one right here that has an entire quarter worth of projects.
Yep.
And I took everything out of our project management. And once a week I meet with my team and I say, tell me where it's at, tell me what I need to do, and tell me when I need to do it. I put it on my whiteboard and then it gets done.
Whiteboard, dude.
Right? I went out and bought a whiteboard and I run a digital agency. Just because I couldn't keep up with it.
My favorite project management software is Google Calendar.
I love it.
Well,
like, you can have a task, which is did I do it or not? You can have a block of time if it is something that someone needs to be invited to, where it's like, hey, this needs to happen at this time.
Yeah.
And then there's accountability around it. It's simple. Everyone gets one email. And at the end, everyone, especially if you share your calendar with everyone on your team, you can manage projects that way. I don't think that's necessarily best practice, but it's less overwhelming.
I will say, in terms of like helping team members who struggle with getting things done, I love the calendar idea to give them dedicated time to work on something and to encourage co-working with digital teams. We've talked about doing this internally, Trevin, where like, hey, let's put an hour, let's put 2 hours on the calendar together. And at the start of the meeting, everyone's going to say what they're working on and what their tasks are to accomplish in the next hour. And we're just going to shut off our mics and we're all just going to work. And at the end, we're going to update how'd you do on getting that thing done. This is, if you're a solo person working alone and you have a team who can do this, there's a tool called Focus Mate that is phenomenal for this. It literally pairs you with a random stranger at any time of your day. And all you do is co-work together and you both say, here's what I'm working on. Here's what I need to get done in the next 45 minutes. And then you shut it off and then you report back at the end of it. Here's what I got done. That's the only thing the tool exists for. But I think that's a great, that is, if you're looking at tactical ways to move projects forward, those sort of like interpersonal human hacks are some of the things that actually make the difference. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think some of this comes down to as well, like what we were talking about in some other portions of this is process. Other podcasts we talk about process. So if your process is we have Slack and we have ClickUp. Okay, if it's just free for all, then yes, whatever you're more comfortable with is going to happen. And a lot of times it's like, well, somebody's going to say something in Slack, somebody's going to do it in ClickUp, somebody in Slack is going to go tell you to put it in ClickUp, and then you're going to get a text message from somebody else who doesn't want to talk to the people in either. And if there is no ClickUp is for this, Slack is for this, nothing goes in between, or we finally integrated both, so just get out of the other one, or whatever it is. If there's no process, it's only a matter of time. I mean, and could even be days, it could be just hours before somebody's made their own Excel sheet, somebody has a notes thing up. Like and I'll just put myself on the chopping block. I take notes on calls. Why? We have AI note takers. Second, they're better than my notes. Third, we have ClickUp. Why didn't I take the notes in ClickUp? I took it on my notepad first, and then I stuck it in ClickUp. And literally had my team go, why didn't you put that in ClickUp first? Like, that's true. We are paying for that. And so I think, again, if process is loose around it, where it's just, and especially if your departments or teams can find their own solutions and aren't on lockdown, like, wait, oh, you're using Monday.com? Who said you could do that? Delete, then for sure, no project management software is going to save you. Yeah. None.
Yeah, I think there's other things you can do from a process standpoint where it's like we meet at the beginning of the week if we're a fully remote team. We talk about everything that we need to get done during the week. And then we have a stand up on Friday and we talk about where things are at.
Yep.
Because I think part of the problem with project management and the way that projects go off the rails is people don't feel like they can say that something is going badly, and they don't feel supported when it does. So if you can crack the code where you reduce the time between I got stuck and I told someone that I'm stuck,
Yeah.
then I mean there's a huge percentage of your project lag that you can just eliminate because someone feels comfortable enough to fail.
So
Right,
should we create
right.
a project management tool called Are You Stuck? That has that built in? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I think Basecamp does this from a dashboard standpoint. It's like red, yellow, green, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, this is
Yeah.
off track. This is,
Yeah.
you know,
Cool. We were going through just the list of tools and saying, are they good or trash panda? I just have a few more that I want to ask you guys about. How do you feel about people running project management in Slack?
I say it's possible, but why?
I love it personally because especially if you can, I mean, you're already communicating there. And it probably comes back to my thing that like my ideal project management tool is just a chat thread where I say, here's the task and I can check it off. It's not dissimilar to the whiteboard, it just is digital.
Yeah. It's just digital. It's a digital version of the whiteboard. Yeah.
I get
how do
that
you
things
feel
can get lost, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
That's
search
my
history.
beef.
That's what search history is for, right?
I think the piece that I like about project management software the most that you would lose doing something like that is the ability to go back and say, why did something happen? Right? To go back and be able to like, why am I 3 weeks late on this deliverable and just finding out about it now? And then you go back and realize, well, it's been sitting on my desk to review for the last 2 weeks and I just failed to look at all the notifications I got.
Yeah.
Or, oh, it got stuck in design and we were stuck on this one thing and couldn't get past it. And oh, here's an idea. If we ever get into this process again, we have an alert. If this happens multiple times, upgrade it or take it to the, like whatever, right? So I think that's the piece that is most valuable that you lose not doing it in a platform built to manage projects.
Yeah. All right. So if you had to, this is just kind of wrap up question for us. If you had to simplify project management down to a few best practices and best principles, what would they be?
end every meeting with a who is doing what by when.
That's it. I mean, that alone can save everything.
Yep. And
Every-
post mortem on every project, even if it's a quick one.
Every task needs an owner. Every project needs a champion. Everything needs a due date.
Yep.
Those are 3 solid ones.
Yeah. And
I would
the
add-
post-mortem is the
Yeah,
whole
go ahead.
circling it back around, because you can have a bad process, bad project, and if you don't take the time to say why, which is, it's another set of tasks, it's another project management thing, saying, okay, now we have a due date to say what went bad, what went good, and why. Now let's refine so the bad doesn't happen again. If we don't do that, then you're just going to keep repeating the same mistakes.
Yeah. I would say another like best practice principle that I would leave folks with is I think every project needs a clear internal team kickoff call just to work through all of the back and forth logistics of how we're going to run this project before it actually gets into getting there. Like your first call can't be, all right, so we have this due this week and here we go. And we're off. Like you need an internal team call to consolidate around it, give everyone context on the project, on why we're doing it, alignment around, hey, here's the what success looks like out of this. I think a kickoff call that actually aligns the team around the why, around the vision for the project, around what the real core outcomes are, why the timeline is what it is, like what happens if we don't hit that timeline. I think that's as critical as actually running the project, because it makes everyone understand, okay, here's why we're working on this. So that would be my big best practices. Have an internal team kickoff call that actually sells the vision for why this project is important.
Where I was going to ask you guys is, are you as concerned about the contextual anxiety as I am with people generating project briefs with AI
Yes.
because they're just farming it out and not actually aware of any of the things that you said.
Yes, 1,000%. Because we have gotten those from clients, and it is so clear that they generate with AI. Because when you ask them pointed questions about what they asked for, they have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
are you ready to let a genius 4-year-old write all over the walls of your projects?
Right.
Because that's effectively what letting AI do its job
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
I've spent the better part of 6 months trying to train AI to figure out how to write a simple project brief, and I still can't get it to the point where I would call it the quality of a really green coordinator writing a brief.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really good at processing a ton of information and giving me insights to write the brief. Like I would let it write a creative brief if there's a resource and it's like, this is what you need to produce. This is what I need you to focus on. This is what I need you to pull out. I've done that where it's like, I have a 100-page impact report and I need to distill that into 2 emails. Find the best stories, find the most impactful stats. Great. But if you said, I need to write an impact report, oh my gosh, I spend more time fixing the brief that an AI agent would write than I do writing the brief myself, right? So, moral of the story: don't let AI write your briefs.
Yeah, or you're going to get a lot of stuff you didn't bargain for.
Yeah, I'd say go back to what was it, episode 2? We talked about AI.
Yeah.
Well, that, and to your point, like even on the client side, your RFPs, if you're getting a proposal out there and you feed AI what we're looking for, there are times where it will add what it thinks you should have asked. And so it'll put that in there. If you don't read it, then you're getting a proposal from people going, oh yeah, we could totally do that for $80K. And you're like, that sounds, I guess, reasonable-ish. And then that's what we're going off of because we're the ones on the receiving end. And then when we start asking for things that you're like, we don't even have that, or we don't want you to do that, it's like, well, that's not what the doc said.
In your proposal. Right. So
always
yes,
proofread.
Schwab, concern, or Trevin, whoever asked that. Yes, very concerned about AI project management or AI scoping out projects. So
yeah, I mean, I think the concern is kind of more along the process side where we have been, and it's like, okay, we don't really know what the process is anymore because we farmed it out so much,
right?
That I don't even know how a project runs,
right? Because we let them do the whole thing. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's good. That's a good word. Cool. Any other last thoughts on project management before we wrap for today?
I do have one more question. You can cut it out if you want.
No.
What do you guys think of the concept of a pre-mortem, where you basically take a project before it kicks off and you talk about it with the team and say, what are all the ways that this is going to go wrong?
I like it. My gut is that like, I can, if I let my head go there, I could spend 3 hours saying everything that I think could go wrong. I guess I would say I like the idea with guardrails. Like, what are the guardrails before we start really just going down? Like, okay, well, what if the client decides that they're, they want to scrap the project halfway through? It's like, okay, well, yeah, that could happen with anything, right? But no, I like the idea of it. Like, it's that, what do they call it in the military? Red teaming it, right? Is that what they call it? Where you essentially like figure out like, I think it's called red teaming. If you're military out there, don't murder me because I called it wrong. It's either red team or blue team, something like that. Essentially the idea of like,
are you thinking of red pill, blue pill? Did you just watch The Matrix? Is that what happened?
No.
Red versus blue, the Halo thing.
It's essentially this idea where they do attack simulations where it's like, if the enemy hit our system, how would they hit it, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that sort of thing is really helpful, which is like, if it goes bad for us, how's it going to go bad? I love that, actually. If you have time for it and bandwidth, like, within reason, I love it.
And maybe you simplify it to give me 3 ways. Everybody gets three ways that it's going to fail in your area or something like that. Yeah. Which I bet half of them will write communication, so we'll get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But like, if besides poor communication and poor, strategy as far as due dates go, what 3 things would kill or delay the project in your area? And it's good because I think it'll highlight, even in a postmortem, like, did any of those things happen? No, something new happened. All right, then let's address that. But if one of those things did happen, that's even bigger accountability on my part. It's like, well, you knew it would, and we talked about it even before starting the project. So
Yeah.
why?
I like the idea. I think it's only appropriate for one-off projects.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think you should need to have a pre-mortem for, like, if you have a retainer client and you're doing the same thing every single month in and out, and you have to meet every single month to ask what's going wrong, you have a bigger problem than a pre-mortem. But if you're doing something you've never done as an agency, that makes sense. But I would also say it is the responsibility of the strategist or the leader on the business, the project, or the account to do most of that thinking for the team, right? Again, not if it's something you've never done before, but if it's a standard project with a few degrees of variance, the person who's running the project should be responsible and capable of predicting what are those barriers and how do we pre-navigate them without having to take the time of the whole team to do that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think in the right context, right, it can be really, really helpful. Love it. Good stuff. All right. This has been project management. Probably more than anyone ever wanted to hear on it, but that's okay. I think it was helpful for everyone. It's got a lot of good thoughts on it. And yeah, thanks guys for joining. We will be back again next week with another episode. So we'll see you guys then.